did. I think I was purposely trying to not sound like that, but it would have been great.
A fitting tribute.
It would have been a tribute. So Carrie and saying that, I sort of said, stay tuned, same bat time, same bat channel.
Or even just same time, same channel.
Yeah.
Because Adam West.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sad.
Well, now we started After Dark on a bummer.
Also, space whales, by the way.
Yes.
Swales. All right, we need to do an open.
Well, because if Ariel is going to go to space, then I was thinking of space whales because of Star Trek.
Ah.
Eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Space Mike, what was your favorite story?
I think I'll say new astronauts. NASA
Nastronauts?
selects new astronauts.
Nastronauts, all right. Jared?
Keep the Milky Way's weirdest star weird.
All right, I'll say I have an interview with Paul Hildebrandt, director of Fight for Space, and
Keeping the Milky Way weird.
and
that's hilarious.
And you'll take us into the show, right?
Sure.
All right, Space Mike, you're up first, then Jared, then me, then Carrie Ann. All right, here's number one. Number uno. One. Oh, there we go. One. Boop, boop, boop.
Coming up, NASA selects new astronauts.
Keep the Milky Way's weirdest star weird.
I've got an interview with Paul Hildebrandt, the director of Fight for Space.
All that and more coming up on this episode of Tomorrow.
One take.
Boom.
Boom! We could have done that live. We could have done that live. We'll do it live.
No, we could have done it live at the end of the show. The beginning of the show was a little rough, and I'm really sorry.
Oh my God, it was rough. Ugh.
I'm really sorry. That was a lot of that was my fault.
Whew.
We
All
got
right.
through it.
We're gonna have
like
it.
The funny thing is that like last week was kind of okay, and we had taken a week off. I think I was more worried about last week, and then this week was just like another Saturday. We had just done a show last week, and it went really well. And then I was like, like I have no idea what happened.
So unfortunately, we're going to have a really short After Dark this week because the fire marshal is coming next week, and we need to not have a woodworking shop in our studio.
An opera house, as it were.
An opera house. Oh, we were going to tell the story of the opera house because we never got to that, correct?
You're welcome.
Right. So, Space Mike thought the opera house in the studio was our bathroom and thought that we were singing Disney songs on the can.
Which
is hilarious. Absolutely hilarious.
Inaccurate.
Which also we do.
Right. Thank
But-
you.
I mean, that's
but-
probably why you
Whole
thought that.
new world.
But not the reason for the name.
Right.
Why wouldn't
Yes.
I think that? I mean,
Right.
come on.
Right.
So then the question of why do we call it the Opera House, which I will hand over to Dutta because he is better suited to answer that question.
So when Walt Disney was building Main Street in Disneyland, the first building constructed is what is now Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln inside of what they call the Opera House. But that started off as the wood shop. And the wood shop created all of the buildings, all of the facades, all of the decorations for everything on Main Street, including the, if I'm not mistaken, the Chicken of the Sea pirate ship that was in Fantasyland. So everything at Disneyland started in the wood shop, and they called it the Opera House.
Everything in Tomorrow in this facility started in our Opera House, which is how we got. You guys liking the new planet? I really like this planet.
Yeah, it's a nice.
Want to see a
Looks
magic
great.
trick? All right, here, here's a nifty little magic trick.
Can you address something really quickly?
Sure,
I
go
don't
ahead.
know if that person's still in the room, but somebody was asking how we got the music or where we got the music or if it's specific to only us, the After Dark music.
Oh, that was on Audio Jungle is where we got that.
There you go.
I don't know exactly what it's called, but that's where it's from. So the red you see in the planet is actually not in the graphic. It's through the lighting that we're doing. So we can actually like possibly.
Can you?
Maybe,
Can you
okay.
actually?
Can you?
Can you actually do it?
But can you?
You can actually, right?
Can
you can see
yeah,
how I can
can
tweak
you-
it. And
Yeah.
it's actually kind of cool.
It is actually.
I would do the one to the one above, but that's.
Is it actually kind
you
of
not tall
cool?
enough?
I hate you all.
Okay.
I thought that was neat. I
you
thought that
sure
was
about
a-
It's really neat.
How
I
neat
thought
is
that was
that?
I
It's-
think it's neat. I think it's neat. You're cool. You're cool.
I think it's interesting. I don't know if it's neat.
It is all right. So it's neat.
It's
It is
actually
neat.
kind of neat.
For the record, it is neat, and we even have the lights like reflecting off the planet into the windows like we think they should, including like the star reflecting in or bouncing in through through there.
The
So
star, you mean the sun?
yeah. Well, I mean, whatever that
The sun is not a star.
No, can we not? Can we not? It's like the king of the planet.
There you go. It's so much better.
It's my favorite one. Sometimes I get some binoculars and I just look
see
straight
this?
at it.
Oh my God. Yeah, the wasp. That's hilarious.
It's a fire planet. It's a fusion planet.
But that's
Come on, guys.
Photoshop, right? They Photoshopped that. It
No,
looks like they
my
Photoshopped
understanding
that.
is that that's correct. That was a.
I don't know. It looks kind of Photoshopped.
I don't know.
All right.
It's funny.
So questions as to who we can get from interviews. Neuropilot, can we get Simone Giertz on the show? She does the crappy robots on the tubes. I don't know how that relates to space. So if someone can close that gap for me, then maybe she might be willing to do it. Also asked if we could get NanoRacks on the show. We've contacted them a couple times now. I don't think I've heard anything back. I'll have to go back to my notes.
We've had them in studio more times than they know, but not in a professional.
Wow. Not in a professional way, but we've
Right.
had them a lot. It's pretty much
Wow.
what you
Oh,
just
that's
said.
darn everyone.
So, yeah, I know, right? Somebody says I look like I'm in a car seat. That's because I'm too short to reach the ground, so I have to put my feet on this thing, but it's also sits higher than any of the other chairs, so I didn't want to be like this teeny tiny short thing, so now I'm actually pretty much on level with the two of them if I kind of just, if I bend
I feel
down a
bad
little
because I
bit.
didn't even notice till you brought it up.
Yeah, it's because of the feet.
So the chat room saying Simone has several videos on how she wants to go to space. Neat. If I brought on and interviewed everyone who wants to go to space, that would be a very boring show. Do you want to go to space? Actually, that may not be the answer I'm expecting. Do you want to go to space?
Yeah.
Dada, do you want to go to space?
Well, yeah.
Do you want to go to space? I don't actually know the answer to that.
Do you want to go to space?
I do, but is it?
Mike, you want to go to space? Yeah?
To
Cat?
space?
Cat? Space? Space cat?
After it's like super safe and they can knock me out for the trip. Yeah,
Cool.
Wait, knock you out for the trip.
Well,
That
You
kind
wanna-
of defeats the.
You want to
Like B.A. Baracus.
you want to experience zero gravity, but you don't want to experience the flight to get to zero gravity?
Yes.
Okay. You don't want to perceive you being really high up.
What about a zero G flight?
I'd love to do a zero G flight. I'd probably throw
Yeah,
up.
that would be awesome.
But-
And very possible. That could be very possible.
yeah, I just some ginger cookies or Dramamine maybe.
All right, so I think we've determined that we need to do a live
You're
show.
pregnant.
From a
You don't
zero-G
know what
flight.
you're talking about.
Yeah, that's true. You have no idea what you're talking about.
Awesome. Oh my gosh. It'd be so awesome.
For
I
those
would
wondering,
only want to do a zero G flight if Tim Bailey can be my. I need to have
Steward.
Tim Bailey with me.
be your steward.
Yeah.
Oh, that was so.
I mean,
There
I
was
need to.
so Simone. I keep looking over there. Simone,
The one with
because
the
that's
red
where my
light.
confidence
I
monitor.
know, and I keep trying to tell you.
It's like a.
It's over here.
It's like check it out with Dr. Steve Brill. Who
Check it out.
Who we got?
These are the
Get
planet-
all the space in here. Get the big planets. With the look through the biggest-
Mercury, the sun.
You got the world's largest microscope in this big dirty church. What are you doing up on this hill looking at rocks and stuff? Everybody knows it's just a bunch of rocks and gas and things. Gotcha.
Had you seen that before I posted it in the Discord
Oh
channel?
yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Up at Griffith,
I'm sure.
everybody at Griffith is a huge Steve Brill fan, and we always love to bring up the one where he goes to Mount Wilson Observatory
Yep.
here, and he's just like, "Hey, you got a cool jacket. Who gave that to you?" "Oh, it was a gift from a friend." "Hey, cool guy."
Hey.
You have a telescope that like Galileo may have looked through?
No, microscope. He always referred to it as a
A big microscope.
microscope. That's it. Yeah. Never a telescope, right? Yeah, microscope.
You were trying to say something?
Yeah. So someone said. So Simone did go on a zero G flight, and what was hilarious? So I was watching that. And it was Tim Bailey that was the steward. So you actually see him doing his, like, you only see a few frames of him doing his thing with his normal, like, huge Tim Bailey smile of,
Yeah.
like, everything is awesome. Oh my God, I just realized he is the Lego movie.
Yes.
Tim Bailey equals Emmett.
Yes.
So anyhow, yeah, that would be fun. I think it would be awesome to have the entire TMRO crew up on a zero G flight, a parabolic flight.
But I will only go with Tim Bailey.
Rebel Ace Friesland asks, how about having a project manager of a space project from another agency than NASA on? We have actually reached out to ESA and a couple others. And generally, we get the "Who are you? Why should we care?" email, and then we have a normal like, okay, this is who we are, this is how many subscribers we have, this is what our catalog looks like, this is what we do, this is what we're trying to do, and then like nothing, and then we'll follow up, and then like nothing. So basically, they're like, oh, you're not CNN, you're not MSNBC, you're not a big media outlet, go away, which is a very telling like. These agencies are very old school in their way of doing things, which you see both in their rockets and in the agency. So,
Oh, shut up.
So I would love to have ESA or some other agency on. They just need to, reply to our emails. So there you go.
And if JAXA would reply
Oh,
to our email / send a T-shirt, that would be great.
we
You
did
can only
reach out-
get them at JAXA.
We did reach out to the Canadian. This is horrible. I feel like I almost shouldn't say this. We reached out to the Canadian Space Agency, and they were like, "Why?"
To be fair,
I can't believe
Right? I mean, that was how that email kind of went,
yes.
right?
To be fair, the Canadian Space Agency does a decent job of getting their own name out there.
They do.
Like they have put space things on their money,
But no, they were like, "What do you want to talk about?"
kind
Like-
of, because they
And
do
then-
a
and then I
decent
couldn't-
social
and
media
then-
job,
but
and
you-
then you couldn't answer the question.
I couldn't because
Right.
I was like,
I don't know. You got that arm and stuff, right?
right, yeah.
What about like that one guy who does like albums and stuff?
I was
I
looking-
know he's not in space anymore, but he'd be cool. Like you're right. There's nothing to say.
Right, that was my problem, and I couldn't reply. It was because I was like, "Oh God, yeah, no, why?"
Yeah, talk about.
So why do you want us to come on the show?
And
That's a real.
That was on me. That was a little bit on us because they're like, "Okay, well, what do you want to talk about?" And we were like,
I don't know.
You guys made a bit of a Frischman move there with not getting it right at the first time.
Right. So right.
You blew it.
So
You blew it.
right. To be fair, it's not like they were like, "Why would we want to talk to you?" It's just more like, "Sure, what do you want to chat about?" And we didn't have much of an answer for that. Cool space stuff, I guess.
"Yeah,
Because they did put a robotic arm on.
That's the
I
thing.
can't
on
remember. I
everything.
think
They
it's
put
their-
robotic arms on everything."
I think
That's
it's their $10.
Yeah, they had
note.
an arm on shuttle, and then their follow-up to that is the big one on the International Space Station.
And their money.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe they did the Dexter attachment for it that
They
has
did.
all the different arms and tools and everything like that.
Yeah,
so.
the problem is, it's a show called Space tomorrow.
Is it called space?
Yeah, it's just be focusing on what they've done.
Yep.
Space.
Yep.
Space
Space.
good tomorrow.
I mean, that's the internal production name for it.
Okay.
Tomorrow Space.
Tomorrow space.
Tomorrow space.
I mean, I was close. It is a show called Space, I guess.
Coming to you live on April 2nd.
So good.
I'm trying to reach out to. Hopefully, they can try to reach out to some people within ISRO.
That
We
would be
might be able
cool.
to get a response from them.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I just need them to respond and actually be. The other hard part is a lot of times.
No. Apparently, you need them to respond and know what you're talking about.
That too. That is on me. Well, because I didn't want to talk about Dexter
Right.
or the robotic
Right.
arms because that has been done. And then
No,
I was
I
like, well, I
know.
don't want to talk about the astronauts that had already been going up there. So I'm like, all right, I did in fact do a little bit more research. I was going to answer the question and be like, all right, this is what we want to talk about. But then I legitimately couldn't find anything. I'm like, I just don't have anything compelling here. I don't have I didn't see a compelling story.
Right.
So, and I don't want to just do an interview for the sake of doing an interview. That's stupid. I want to have compelling stories. So there you go.
Right. So, there's
Oh, I found out something over this past week that made me a little depressed.
that. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
So Iran has officially given up on their human spaceflight plans
Wait,
because
who
they've
has?
been getting way too
Iran.
much. Iran, yeah. And they've given up on their plans for now because they're getting way too much pressure from the United States because, of course, we think that it's their ICBM program, which they could already do at any time if they wanted to. But yeah, it's a bit of a bummer. But yeah, for now they're just cooling off on all of any sort of orbital space rockets because they are worried about the backlash. So maybe when the United States gets a different president, maybe the story will change. But yeah, it's pretty sad.
I don't know. We seem to rough arm a lot of countries into not having, isn't Australia not having a space program kind of our fault too?
That's more Britain's fault, but
Yeah, let's blame England.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a good week to do that.
I
so,
feel like yeah.
yeah.
it's
You know
their
what?
laws. It's the Commonwealth's laws that banned Australia from doing stuff. So why blame the United States? We had nothing to do with that.
No, I thought we
we
did.
might have given them the idea or pressured England to do that, but
No,
it was England that did that.
I was talking with a miniature Lisa and a
It's just Lisa.
A quarter Stoge.
Her name is Lisa.
miniature Lisa,
And she's not a miniature Lisa. She's a full-size Lisa.
which is still miniature. Though.
No. Just because you're gigantic
I
doesn't
know
make her
other
little.
Lisas that are bigger than that Lisa.
Wow, that's just insulting.
Actually, I'm not sure that's actually
I know
even
smaller
true.
Bens than you.
There's
Wait a second. How's that possible?
Dada's laughing.
Well, then.
To be fair, we had a full-size Lisa in studio, and she was talking about Casina.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Casina.
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 yes.
Very well done, Dada.
Casino.
So,
Casinos.
As far as I understand, now Australia is free to rebuild the Woomera test site and do launches whenever they want.
There was something to do
as far
about.
as I understand, legally.
Yeah, we should bring Lisa on and talk about that because Australia is. Australia is actually a really good place to launch rockets from, just
Yeah.
from a technical standpoint.
there's a lot of nothing.
A lot of nothing.
Yeah, a lot of nothing.
Close to the equator.
Close to the equator.
Close to the equator.
You can go east.
Yes.
Yep.
Just saying.
Yeah.
like-
Or is it because you're upside down? Is it west?
That's a really great question. I don't know.
Oh my God, I don't know.
Do you
You
have
just
to-
kind of fall into space.
That's actually a
That's
good point.
right.
You just have to let go of the rocket, and it just falls into space.
That's why there's not a lot of good Australian basketball players, because if you jump too hard, you fall right into
off the-
space.
Yeah, right
So,
into space. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Confirmed.
Yeah. This seems like real science.
So, yeah.
Confirmed. Yep.
It is.
We're sciencing right now.
Yes, we are.
Yep.
So,
Okay.
sorry,
To
Lisa.
address the idea that we have spoken to people who are not part of NASA, people rightly point out ULA and Virgin Galactic.
Tori
Yeah.
Bruno and
interviews that
George
we've had.
Whiteside.
Yeah. We bring on
This
a lot
season.
of new space.
This orbit.
We've also brought on. We've brought on from
Shame.
Rocket Lab.
Yeah, we've talked to some.
Oh my
Copenhagen
God, what is his
suborbitals.
name?
We've talked. Yeah, we've talked to a bunch of different people, and continue to, as much as possible.
Oh my gosh. Now I got to look it up.
I'll know it as soon as I hear it. I was just talking about him the other day. It's
Peter something.
Beck.
Peter Beck.
That's it. Peter Beck. I needed the Peter, and then I got the Beck. Yeah, Peter Beck. Yeah, so we've had Peter Beck on the show. We've had Zero to Infinity, which is also not an American. The thing is, for everyone who's like, oh, you're too much American centric. Frankly, a good chunk of the space happens here in America. So as soon as really cool stuff happens that's not in America, and they're willing to come on the show, more than happy to bring them on the show. We're not just sitting here trying to focus only on American industry, but most of the new space companies around the world are located right here in America. So I hereby challenge you, go build a new space company, and we'll bring you on the show.
Yeah.
I would love.
Especially if you're in a country other than the United States.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And do it in Australia. It's a perfect place to have a launch site, perfect place to build a space program. Go build a space program in Australia. Bring you on the show. It'll be awesome.
Just like that guy.
I
From,
mean, one of our favorite space startups is Copenhagen Suborbitals. They're not in the United States.
just like that guy from Uliu.
Ooh, Zero to Infinity.
What?
I said
Oh.
Zero to Infinity. All right. On that note, we do need to end this after dark because we have a bunch of MDF and stuff we got to throw in dumpsters and kind of clean up, and I got to do electrical work and blah 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 blah. So, thank you everyone so much for watching. I actually don't have a guest scheduled for the next 2 weeks. I am desperately trying to get a guest
thought you
scheduled. For
did.
Nope. There's no one for the next 2 weeks. I'm
For
trying.
Is this not one of the months where we have a roundtable discussion?
That's next month.
I thought for some reason we did. Oh, okay.
That's because I
Hey, guess what?
inappropriately scheduled
If we
it.
can't get a guest by next week, you know what we're gonna have?
We're gonna have a roundtable discussion. We may start having lots of roundtable discussions like in a row because it's weird. I've got like these 2 weeks, then I got a couple, then one, but they're starting to fill in. It's just like getting guests has slightly longer lead time than you'd expect because we kind of have to force them onto Saturdays, and for a lot of people, they're like, ugh. Some people don't care, but a lot of people are, some people, it's 50-50. Yeah. All right, on that,
All right.
I hit the hologram. On that note, thank you everyone so much for watching, and we will see you next week. Bye. Bye, Mike.